Welcome, Roast Nation. This is Prime Roast once again. I'm Chris Cordani, and here with me is Angie Wong. Well, a bunch to roast again this week. Why not, right?
Why not? Well, Chris, I don't know about you, but I'm struggling. It's like the end of the year. It's been a big year. It's been a huge year of winning. And I'm just exhausted. But you know what? Donald Trump won again and again and again. And today,
yes.
Fani Willis got disqualified from her own case against Donald Trump in the Georgia 18. I've been working on this case, covering it all year round. And I am just so happy that we're not at the finale yet. There's still going to be like an act 3 and 4, but we are almost done. So I was really proud earlier this year. We broke the story for Fani Willis and her lover, Nathan Wade. It was one of the funniest stories I've ever had to cover. And we got that thing all over the airwaves. So I'm really proud of the team. But you know what? Now, at months later and before Trump gets inaugurated, she gets disqualified. I mean, talk about poetic justice.
She's the Kim Fox of Georgia. There you go.
That is right. Look, but here's the thing. I have a problem with the appeals court on this one. They didn't knock out the entire case. They didn't toss it. So who takes over the prosecution of this case now? Right. So there's still going to be a part 2 to this. I don't know what, this spells out. But right now, I'm sure Trump and the rest of the co-defendants are breathing a little bit easier. We knew this case had no legs anyway, but it was really fun just to see Nathan Wade, her ex-lover, on the stand, having to remember all those dreamy romantic holidays they used to go on with taxpayer dollars.
I'd rather have dreams about Freddy Krueger. Okay, so let's not talk about that.
Hey, I mean, we're all looking at them like, So good thing that this was done. Weird that Atlanta voted her back in for another term. What's going on with you guys over in Atlanta? You must like this kind of like divorce court stuff that's happening on your television screens. But this was like big news in 2024. In fact, we should do a wrap up of 2024. A lot of big events have happened, right? So anyway, I'm happy to see the appeal court, found its wings and got rid of her, and not just Fani Willis, but all of the ADAs that worked on this case. So who's left? I don't know. Do they bounce it to another court, another DA's office? I don't believe they can, because then they would then have to re-indict everybody. So I think this case goes away on its own. But yeah, it does. Someone's gonna have to. Maybe they bring on another special prosecutor. Who knows? But
who had a worse year? Who do you think had a worse year? Kim Fox, Fani Willis, or Alvin Bragg, who has just basically kept losing and losing and losing this entire year? Fani Willis will probably go back. She'll write a book about her experiences, but Alvin Bragg has been embarrassment after embarrassment, especially after the Penny case.
Well, do they know that they're embarrassments? I don't know if they feel that emotion. I don't know if psychopaths really have emotions at all.
That's gonna hurt.
Well, but that's true, right? I mean, like, they just roll with it. Look, he's like on to the next case now. He's got Steve Bannon in his eyesight for February. There's a big case on Steve Bannon. I think he's just going to keep going until he's voted out of office, right? But this is what I mean. It's like Democratic cities love to bring them back on. It's almost for entertainment value at this point.
Exactly. And here's something funny. These Democrats always crack me up, especially after they lose. There's always a collective hissy fit for a very, very long time. People like to talk about, Donald Trump got mad after the 2020 election. Well, we know about the questionability of some of that. But remember, the year 2000, it was always, Bush was selected, not elected. In 1980, the New York Times, the Reagan inauguration was really a coronation. Or was it 1972? That was the second term for Nixon. This one reporter going, I don't know anybody who didn't vote for McGovern. Well, some people just don't get around enough. And then, of course, 2024, the newest round of hissy fits. And of course, every time this happens, there's always, I don't know, a whole mess of Democrats who want to get rid of the Electoral College. Oh, yes. And I had to sit through, because we do this because you don't have to. I sat through and Kathy Hochul talking about this, the governor of New York, and she's all, we got to do this. Listen to her, and she's absolutely completely wrong with virtually every one of her arguments over this.
There's also a questioning. Now, historians tell us that the Electoral College was a result of compromise, devised by our founders in search of a consensus.
Does that woman
When a
ever
unified, united
check this out? Does that woman ever, like, when she talks, move her teeth?
Oh,
She
no.
always talks like our teeth are clenched all the time.
Yeah, I've noticed that she's got a very, very distinct look. And it's, I guess when you don't move your mouth that much, it's easier to lie. Maybe I should try that. But I love the karaoke line, the captions on the bottom. It like allows me to understand what she's saying because she doesn't move her mouth or her teeth. So it's hard to like follow her. So I think that's why she needs the captions.
Well, that's cool, and I do believe that was a very nice thing to do for the person that put this video up to put the caption on under it. Also, just in case that sign language person is more like me, who doesn't know. I think this happened once when there was some guy who was doing sign language in the next to somebody speaking and just like flashing signs and not even and
Yes.
not even correct. That was funny. So you don't want that to happen. Very nice, the person who posted the video to put the captions there. But it's
Yeah.
funny thing here. You did mention Hochul and the way she talked. Well, we talked about that and everything, and her look. Our friend Tony Schaefer, we have to give him credit for this. He always called her Vampirella from
She
the
looks like that. She looks like an
from Plan
evil
9 from Outer
villain.
Space. Yeah, Plan 9 from Outer Space. There you go. And
I
she's an
think that's
evil
intentional.
supervillain, it looks like right here. So let's hear some more from her.
States of America simply didn't exist. And in many regards, we honor the talents, the wisdom, and the genius of our founding fathers.
See, here's that compliment sandwich that people give. You know, the one where we're gonna insult you, but we're gonna say something nice first and maybe something nice later on.
Yeah, I wish she would just turn this whole speech into a karaoke song because that's what this whole screen reminds me of. Like I feel like breaking out the mic.
But there are shortcomings that still impact us today. I believe that we must reflect on whether the time for this particular institution
What's with the finger pointing? It's like remember Bill Clinton and the finger pointing?
Bill Clinton did that with the pen. I don't have a pen here, but he would always go like that to emphasize things. I actually find the sign language lady a lot more entertaining than Kathy Hochul right now.
Yeah,
I don't
she's
I
good at
like
what she
sure
does.
she's just drowning out. So what is her message here?
Well, our message is again, it's that thing where all these lefties like, we got to get rid of the Electoral College because we don't like it, and the states can decide. And well, let's listen to her a little more.
the Electoral College has passed. Now recall that the Constitution, as ratified, also contained provisions that we consider abhorrent, such as women and people of color being denied the fundamental right in a democracy.
Okay, see here's what they do. They try to go back to that 3/5 thing, or what happened with the Constitution as it originally was written. This is not. I've always heard this argument. Well, you made black people 3/5 of a person. Well, that's not necessarily true. And again, this is the unfunny portion, but the idea was the South had more of an advantage when it came to electoral votes and population because of the slave population. So they had to kind of work it out that way. It doesn't look good in the context of today. I get that. But these people continue to use it just to try to make sure they can skew or put their thumb on the election one way or another. When the founding fathers put this together, and you know this, Angie, they the idea was they didn't want the country to grow to a point where maybe 7 or 8 uh, densely populated centers would control every presidential election.
I believe she's speaking to me. I'm a woman of color, and
Huh?
like I'm like of medium intelligence. I still don't understand what she's saying. Is she saying that women of color are affected by the Electoral College and therefore we should abolish it? Is that what the sign language lady and also the karaoke caption is trying to tell me? Because I can't see Kathy Hochul's lips move. I'm just like I need like Chat GPT to tell me what she's actually trying to say here. I don't know what she's talking to. I mean, it's another word salad. She's the new Kamala Harris.
Yes, but the Vampirella Kamala Harris says,
Yes.
yeah.
The right to vote. The founders themselves created a path to amend our Constitution.
Keep in mind, back in the day, it was only property owners that could vote. So that's another thing. Some of these things did change, and that's important. We understand all this, but come on, stop trying to pretend there was some kind of major ulterior motive to keep people down at the time. Things were different, the mentalities were different back then.
To keep it a living document, to be adapted as future generations and circumstances and times require. For the Electoral College, that time has come.
And there you go. Once again, the Electoral College. They hate this because what happens is other states that the Democrats don't have enough of a ground game in may have more say than they want. You see, here's how it works. In this country, if we went by the popular vote every year, only 7 major cities would decide who wins an election. And generally, it's easier to manipulate a crowd of those in urban blight areas and all together at once by saying, well, you're not going to get this if you vote for the other guy. And it scares people. Fear does work, but it doesn't work when you're trying to go to smaller places. In fact, I don't think these people would be paying attention to some of these so-called swing states if there was a popular vote, because all they'd really have to do is campaign in 7 cities and give people whatever they want at the expense of the rest of the nation. It's called the tyranny of the majority. And that's what the Electoral College prevented, the tyranny of the majority. But these people don't seem to understand that, or they do, and they prefer that tyranny.
Yeah, and they're being told that, they're not smart enough to vote and they don't know what they're doing. So we're going to have really smart, sometimes not elected people do the deciding for you. I've heard all the fear mongering. I used to live in New York City, so we get all that. But who is she speaking to? Or is she just rehearsing for something? Because this is a complete fantasy. Right? We're not getting rid of the Electoral College. There is no pathway, Kathy Hochul, to getting rid of the Electoral College. It's a nice thing to say for your base who don't really understand how it works anyway. I was with the Electoral College in Florida just 2 days ago. It was a beautiful process for them to take the popular vote, which is Donald Trump and JD Vance, and make it an official win for the 2 men. So I don't know what she's fear-mongering. Yeah, it didn't go your way. Go cry somewhere else.
Well, it's simple. It's easy to say, what about one person, one vote? Okay. All right. We get that. We understand that. But a real true democracy, if you think about it in simple terms, like we're going to have to explain to some people, this kind of democracy, and again, I talked about the tyranny of the majority. This kind of democracy, you have, let's say 9, okay, here you go, 9 people. 4 have property, 5 don't. The vote would be for the 5 to take the property of the 4. So the 5, the majority would vote yes and take that property of the 4. And that's what would happen in a straight democracy. And that's what these people want.
Right.
That's exactly what. Now, I remember I was once for the Electoral College being ended. I really was. I admit it. I'm sorry.
No, I think it's a good idea by theory. Yeah.
No. But then I turned 16.
Oh.
See, that's what happened.
And then what happened?
Well, I just learned a little more. I'm just saying, it's a childish idea. This system was set up deliberately so we wouldn't have that kind of a situation where it would be too easy for to manipulate certain people in certain population centers, and then nobody else would have any say whatsoever in the future of the presidency.
Yeah. Well, again, they haven't figured out how to scam that one yet. I'm sure they're all in their little think tanks on K Street going, how do we screw over the Electoral College? Remember, guys, all right, not everyone's super media literate. I get it. She comes out with this on the day that the Electoral College around the country were meeting and celebrating the win of Donald J. Trump and JD Vance, right? So she thought she would throw her little pity party and throw a wrench into all the celebrations with this kind of news. It did take a little bit of the media airwaves away from the big win of 312 votes for Donald Trump, but doesn't matter. She can have her cry party. It's all good. Nothing's going to happen. And she might have won some, little bit of political points amongst her party. It's not happening, Kathy. And I don't know if that's going to really help you win the governorship next round either. So let's see how this one plays out.
Well, on the other hand, there were other losers over the week, and this is a lot more fun to watch. George Stephanopoulos apparently had to pay up, him and ABC had to pay up through the nose because of his stupid comment and his lying during an interview with Representative Mace about the E. Jean Carroll situation, saying, "Oh, Trump was liable for rape," a complete lie. And that led a lot of people across the country to believe this because for some reason, a huge chunk of Americans think this Democrat mouthpiece, George Stephanopoulos, remember the former flack for the Clintons, is an honest voice of news media.
Chris, we're gonna get in trouble for that photo.
What, that's not George Stephanopoulos?
No, isn't that the guy from Nerds?
That's what I just said.
There he is.
That's right. George Stephanopoulos modeled his haircut and look out from Louis Skolnick. I think that's what happened. So that's why it's so confusing.
Yeah, look, 15 million for ABC to pay up is nothing for this defamation suit. This barely covers the legal bills on both ends. So, this is I guess they walked away with an apology. This is what bothers me about stories like this. It's like, let's just throw out the smear and then, let it play out in court. And then maybe one day we'll have to issue out a written apology to Trump. That's all this was. You've already implanted that story that he's a rapist. And then it's like, oh, oops, sorry, I'm wrong. And here's, a couple of bucks to go away. The story didn't stick. It had legs years ago when it was said. It doesn't have legs now, right? This story, we're talking about it, thank goodness. But is it going to be newsy in a couple of days? Probably not. And that's what sucks about this. It's like it allows you to smear someone. And then it's like, okay, swim through all the muck, just to prove that, you didn't rape someone. That's disgusting.
Oh, exactly. And think about it this way. What makes it actually funny is Donald Trump doesn't need the money. It doesn't matter to him. What matters is a little bit of the reputation, and what matters is exposure of today's fake journalists, pseudo journalists, fake news, if you will. That's what mattered. But the best part about this, maybe 15 million isn't a lot, but that money is, I believe, going towards building a library type monument to Donald Trump. So that's what makes it funny. ABC had to apologize, have its tail between its legs, had those chicks from The View constantly read disclaimers because they keep lying. So this is a big blow for them, to be honest with you. It's a big blow for the credibility, not financially. It's a big blow for this network's credibility. But I still think hiring George Stephanopoulos was back in the day. You don't hire a former PR flag to run your news.
And remember, he ran the Clinton campaign, right? I mean, he was part of the Clinton administration. He knows disinformation inside out. Why does this guy even have a job? I mean, okay, fine. ABC, you do this again, hopefully we get the same judge and you'll have to pay like 15 billion. Maybe that will hurt more because you're right, 15 million, they're all laughing. They're all having a lunch over this.
Right. And the funny thing is, if you watched MSNBC recently, they were trying to defend George Stephanopoulos and ABC because, by the way, that's their job.
I would just say, this feels like it has a real chilling effect. Shout out to the standards department. Okay, standards is always making sure that we are keeping the bar high and substantive and accurate. But
wait. Their standards department says that MSNBC tries to keep the bar high. What bar? The bar for NBC is so low that it has to reach up to dig for worms.
Yeah, apparently there's a standards office somewhere in MSNBC. I would love to, go there and meet who runs that office. It must be that singing lady. Do you remember the disinformation office in Biden's administration? What's her name? Mary Poppins?
Yeah,
right?
the
She probably
Mary
runs that
Poppins.
office at MSNBC.
I think it's some gerbil in a hamster wheel, just spinning around and everything, and hoping that it causes more spin for MSNBC's lack of standards. That's what's happening. So lots of spin there. Let's hear some more of this.
What George Stephanopoulos said in that interview, it seems to hold up with what the judge said after the fact.
It doesn't, lady. You're lying. He said that Trump was liable for rape of E. Jean Carroll. By the way, I'm not sure if there's enough drugs for this guy to want to have sex with that woman, but that's another story for another day. The judge said he was liable for sexual abuse. It's again, not a good thing, not great, and not good for Donald Trump on that level. Let's put it there. But it's not rape. And these people keep saying rape for the same reason they said insurrection after January 6th, to stick it in people's heads, to make sure people who don't look things up and want to scream about everything over this, and or hate Trump so much they want to use this disinformation to slam him. And look, you can say what you want. I don't want to be in the. I don't want to defend anybody who may have done something wrong in some kind of situation, but in this case, you can't accuse a guy of rape publicly, especially if you're a news organization, if the judge didn't even say that.
Yeah, and now I'm just curious why they still have jobs. Okay.
Because that is
After
their job.
lying on air, I would get fired in a heartbeat
Not
if
if you work
I
for MSNBC.
reported anything close to this, right? That's a sad part. It's like it's all about inserting the message into people's brains that Donald Trump is a racist, even though he's not. But you say it 7 times and people are like, oh, he's a racist, or he's a rapist, or he's a orange man, or whatever it is, right? That's the problem here. It's like I can't wait for the FCC to pull their license. They should not be on air with this stuff. This is dangerous. It's affecting the mental health of people. Now, I would also go as far as saying that they're trying to cause an insurrection, right? Because then if he is a rapist, if he is this big, bad, dangerous, violent man, it gives you permission to go after him.
Right.
That's
the
the
idea.
problem.
That's the plan. And anybody that's associated with him. That's another idea. You see, that's what's going on here. This is why it was so easy for the Democrats and anybody else on air to say, well, yeah, go after them. Oh yeah, well, cheer on the lady that kicked out or the people that harassed Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And when she was in the restaurant, or you had people like what was it, Maxine Waters telling them, hit the streets and riot and everything else. And there's a St. Floyd riots and everything else like that. That exactly. This is they want to justify all of this by demonizing their opponent.
Right. So I want to ask you, Chris, going forward, how do we deal with that? Right. I mean, look, I've been a target of smear campaigns, and then I have to hire lawyers to go after the who defamed me. And then we're going to spend years and lawyers. Like, how do you nip this at a bud on a federal level, state level? Is there laws? Like, look, if this happened offline and off air, that would actually be a crime, right? It would be a prosecutable crime. But because it happened on air or on the internet, they're protected. They have immunity. So how do you protect people from this kind of targeted campaigns without having to drag it through the courts for multiple years? Like, what do you think is going to happen here?
All you have to do, Angie, is switch party affiliation. If you're a Democrat, you'll get away with anything. Believe me.
Really?
Yeah,
That's it?
Well, it's true. And ask this man himself, Joe Biden, because I found out something recently. You want to know what I found out?
Yeah. Well, he's sleeping at the moment. Joe Biden is taking a nap on stage as we speak.
Did you know that? Oh, I'm going to play it for you. I can't even tell you this without laughing. Okay. But this is what he says at the DNC holiday reception.
We run a campaign that's basically scandal free. It's hard to do in American politics these days.
So he said he ran a campaign that was scandal free. Of course, I mean, think about this: a campaign and a presidency scandal free. Joe Biden scandal free. Has anybody been paying attention? Has he been paying attention what's going on, or did they drug this guy up enough where they said, "Fine, okay, just let him out now"?
No, he really drank his own Kool-Aid on this one. He really believes he's on the right. And that's great. You know what? Let them keep believing in their ideologies, because they have to be right. They have to be right in everything that they say. But here's where they're wrong. They can't win elections. You can't win elections based on ideologies. So if they keep believing their BS, great. Let them keep going 26, 28 and beyond, because we're going to keep winning elections. We don't do the fakery. He's gaslighting himself.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
Yeah, it's fun. We're trying to do some comedy here, but today we're just like calling out gaslighting. It's just these people are so annoying, and then they think we believe this stuff. The only gas I hear from these guys that's actually it's actually working is the gas from him eating too much chili the day before, because that's what's coming out of his mouth.
Oh gosh. Look, I mean, look, he's talking to an audience they're probably nodding their heads like, yeah, 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 yeah. Let them believe that because again, the more they believe their own BS, the more they're going to fail in every single election around the country. And that's what happened. This was an American mandate to remove all the gaslighting from C-SPAN like this. Okay. But if they want to keep talking in their echo chambers and their own little circles, believing that they are more right than you, Chris, let them. Because that's the only thing they have right now is their own lies.
Well, the audience is probably also saying, you know what? He still isn't as bad as Kamala.
Well, what do you think would have happened if he didn't drop out and he ran the race? Do you think? I mean, I think he would have still lost anyway, but maybe the margins may have been a little bit tighter because Kamala's. That was just a pure blowout, right? But I
Yeah,
think if Joe Biden actually stuck in, he would have saved maybe one or two additional congressional seats. I don't know. I mean, I think that the old man, like him or not, and whether or not he was all there in the head, just the presence of Joe might have been fared a little bit better for Democrats, just
I
a
don't.
tiny bit.
I don't think so because what they were looking for the downvote is that idiotic Hillary time of year first woman president vote. The women who just go out there because they don't care who it is. They just want that first woman
Really?
president. Yes.
They don't like care about the actual person or candidate or what they stand for. They
Has
just
to be a
care
woman.
that it is female and
Democrat.
non-white. I mean,
Female
basically
and
that's what they're
Democrat.
going for, right?
It's almost Christmas. And
Okay.
let's enjoy some
No
cheers.
politics?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. We're doing the politics. It'll be fun. But how about this? We talked about some movies last week. Some of the cool Christmas and the bad Christmas movies last week. Let's talk
Yep.
about Christmas music because it's the
Oh
time of
boy.
year where the radio stations are switching to 24-hour Christmas music, and sometimes it's fun, sometimes it can be rather annoying. Um, I'll tell you this: I love listening to certain music, and not all of it gets played all the time. But my favorite Christmas song happens to be "Fairy Tale of New York" by the Pogues and Kirsty MacColl. That is awesome. It tells a nice story about two people in I guess it was the Depression era, the early Irish migrants in New York, and they're just going through some tough times. But it's a great story and a great duet between Shane McGowan and Kirsty MacColl. What's one of your favorites?
I'm not the Christmas Grinch, but I will tell you, I like it for a second. And then I'm so cynical that it occurs to me like everyone's making a Christmas album just to make money, right? Like Jimmy Fallon should not have a Christmas album.
Are
He
you
just
kidding
shouldn't. He's
me?
not even a singer. But not only that, he has an entire Christmas station, right? On Sirius FM. And I'm like, okay, so I just see the money coming in. So that's why I'm so cynical. But I thought the left wanted to abolish Christmas. I thought they wanted to abolish Christianity entirely. So it's weird that they want to like on the one hand make money from it, and on the other hand they want to light it up on fire, right? So it's just like the juxtaposition is just too much for me. I don't know. I don't have a bad Christmas song. I just, I don't like that we only play Christmas songs for just like 1 month out of the year. We should just limit it to like the 1 week. I think the whole month of Christmas is a little bit much. My neighbors across the way have had their Christmas tree up since like September, and it's like blinking lights like all night long. I just like, you don't need it. It's too much. It's causing epilepsy.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't mind a lot of the Christmas songs, a lot of the modern stuff. Again, I'm one of those old guys. What's this infernal racket? But if there are a couple songs I don't ever want to hear again. One of them is "Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer."
That's a good one.
Oh my! I
That's a
know.
good
No,
one.
no, no. No, maybe the first 800 times I heard it back in the day.
Oh,
Now
now
it's
you
like,
have it in my head.
it's not as good as the dog singing Jingle Bells.
The dog singing Jingle Bells.
Right. I mean, that's a classic. Ruff, 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 ruff,
Oh, yes.
ruff, 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 ruff.
Oh man, my dogs would go crazy if I
But
played that.
they even made some kind of Christmas special out of it. This has to go. It is horrid. No, no more.
Oh,
Ban this from the. And I'm a free speech guy, and I say ban this from the radio.
Yeah, I don't know enough Christmas songs. I'm just like, it bothers me that like Taylor Swift has a Christmas song and like it just like why even bother? And like Christina Aguilera, they're all trying to basically be Mariah Carey because Mariah Carey owns
Another one I could
Christmas.
do
Does she
without. Yeah.
not? She
That
is Mrs.
oh
Christmas.
no, that's another song I could do without. Forget it. No
Are you
way.
kidding me? That's the best song ever.
No, no. Well,
Oh my God. I play that song in my car on repeat in June. Okay. It's
well,
so catchy. I love it.
I feel the same way about Wall of Voodoo's classic Christmas song. I shouldn't have given him a gun for Christmas.
That one I don't know.
Oh, you might want to give that one a listen. I
I don't know
recommend that
that
one.
one.
I'll have to put that in. I'll have to put a link to that in the video. In
So
the so check it out in our channel. Check it out. I'll link to that song. However, one of the worst songs and another song I just don't want to keep hearing over and over again. And I know it's sacrilegious because this man is one of the greatest musicians of all time, and he owns everything he does. He is spectacular. So I'm not saying he's bad. But everybody's got a clunker every once in a while. I just don't like "Wonderful Christmas
ooh.
Time" from Paul McCartney.
Oh, they play that all the
I
time. Every
know
single shopping mall that I have to walk into around this time of year, they're playing that song. But
it's
that's the thing, it's royalty, right?
it's irritating. And think about this: the worst part of that song is the Paul McCartney says the kids that sing "Ding Dong," the choir of children that sing their song, they practice all year long just to sing "Ding Dong, Ding Dong, Ding Dong." What kind of genetic defectives have to practice all year just to go "Ding Dong, Ding Dong, Ding Dong" for a couple of minutes?
Yeah, muscle memory. I don't know.
Is this where they got the Kamala voters?
I no, Harris's voters don't like Christmas. Remember, they don't celebrate it. They hate it.
They hate it because they had to practice all year long just to sing "Ding Dong, Ding Dong, Ding Dong."
I don't think they go to church, Chris. I think that's the wrong crowd. Although I will tell you, like, give me like a children's choir any day of the week. Like, I can listen to those angels sing. I don't even know the words. I don't know the lyrics. It's just like, let me hear those little beautiful voices. That is beautiful to me. I know that sounds weird, but like children's choir in a church, oh, there's nothing better.
Well, there might be one way. I know a lot of people love kids' voices and songs and things like that, but I used to until one song changed my mind. I used to do a lot of oldies radio. So in the 70s, there was this big hit called "Playground in My Mind" by
Oh,
Clint Holmes, and this where
ooh.
there's a 9-year-old kid, I guess, or a 12 or 9-year-old kid who sings, "My name is Michael, I got a nickel,
Ooh.
I got," and it's grating. So this will change your mind about hearing kids' voices or kids' choirs and music.
If you saw that guy on the playground, I would run. I would grab my kid and run.
Hey, he used to be on Channel 9, New York, was it New York Nights, a late night show. It was on after the Mets games, so it was pretty cool. I like Clint Holmes' voice. Just this song.
All right. Well, look, you're the pop culture king here. I'm still listening to like Debbie Gibson and New Kids on the Block. Like I have no music authority whatsoever. I just
So,
I think my disology stopped in 1991 and I don't know anything thereafter and I'm just like useless.
so this is where you get the fangirl from when it comes to Tom Horman, Tom Homan. So I get that because you were the New Kids on the Block watcher. So you weren't a fan of the Spice Girls later on with the girl power after that.
No, not really. I mean, I had to listen. Look, Victoria Beckham, great for her. She made it out of there. I know these songs. I just don't like rock out to them in my car. I just songs are a cap. They are the soundtrack of your life. And I guess my disology just ended in the early '90s. After high school, I just didn't have time, right? And I don't know what the new songs are. I'm a complete grandma dinosaur when it comes to pop culture. But it's just exposure. I mean, like anything else. But, every time I come on the show, you educate me a little bit more about songs I should probably listen to. I just, but I need Chris, the editor, to tell me what to listen to because I can't decide the stuff. It's like it's not on the top of mind.
No, that's okay. And by the way, when you say exposure, you mean the good exposure to good stuff, not the same exposure that Anthony Weiner thinks is good stuff. But that's another story for another day.
Anthony Weiner's a friend.
Oh, should
He
I say?
is. I'm sorry.
I won't use it then. I'll cut that out. Okay.
No, it's fine. I love
No,
it.
no, no, no,
He
no,
would
no.
love it too. He would
Oh,
love it too. Look, he knows what. Look, you can't erase that. I mean, it happened, right?
Well,
But he's making a comeback, or at least he's trying to. I think several people are trying to block him from running for city council, which is such a step down for him. But I think it would be great to see any politician who got Me Too'd,
right.
figure it out. And I'm saying this as a woman, right? Like, if you got Me Too'd, step on up. I think you got to explain yourself and maybe apologize, but don't let that be the end of your life unless you did some like real Bill Cosby stuff.
I always had, first off, Anthony Weiner, by the way, he was going to be running for mayor. Thanks to him not being there, the New York got stuck in the position it's in now because of Bill de Blasio. So in hindsight, Anthony Weiner is cool. However, this whole Me Too movement, the only thing that really bothered me about it, besides the fact that everybody had to believe everything a woman said, I get that, but why were these millennials posting #Me Too when they didn't realize that back when we were younger, it was called the pound sign on the on the telephone. So basically, what they were saying was, well, I think
No,
instead
wait.
of #Me Too in our context, since it was the pound sign,
Okay.
it would be
I don't know what you're talking about, Chris.
pound me too.
Oh man, no, I never got that joke at all.
Oh,
I'm
my.
literally thinking pound sign. When was the last time I dialed a phone with a pound sign? No, I didn't get that one. Sorry.
That's
No,
okay.
I'm
I
just
don't think they
happy.
did either.
I'm just happy that that whole thing is hopefully done now, because it was so easy to get powerful men trapped in this, and all you have to do is make a dumb accusation. This is the same thing as smearing someone, right? Because a
Exactly.
lot of it is he said, she said, and it's sad that it was abused. And I really feel that. I think it was over abused. It was women taking back their power in the ugliest way. I feel bad because there are some real victims there, but now it's been completely diluted, because now it's like it's just farcical to use that. And
The worst thing
again,
about this, the worst thing about this is your Christine Blasey Fords and the people like that. They have, and again, another serious moment on our fun comedy show, but they had minimized, and they would hurt future women who actually had real instances of being raped and being assaulted, and people like what happened during a lot of that Me Too movement, to believe everything, and some of the lies that were through there, have now hurt or minimized people who have really gone through some terrible things, and that's something that
yeah.
is the true legacy of the Believe Everybody movement, or Believe All Women movement, and Christine Blasey Ford and the people like that, just to try to take down a political figure or somebody they don't like.
Yeah, or worse, profit from it. How
Right,
ugly can you be to profit from this?
Exactly.
Honestly, go away. Let's do the go away movement.
Yeah,
#go away.
I like that, along with Walk Away, another one. Perfect. I want to thank everybody for being here. We ended our fun show on a rather somber note, but that's true. We can do that because it's our show. Thank you very much. Anyway, Angie, we'll see you next year, and see you all next year. Thanks for being with us, and enjoy the rest of the season.
By 2024, it was great.